Hi, Linda Bowen here from stampingwithlinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. Today's video, we are going to focus on this new stamp set. It's called Garden in Bloom, and I am in love with it. When I first seen it, I thought, oh, same old flower set. But if you liked the Lotus Blossom from Celebration last spring, you are going to love this set. And you're going to need to watch in the upcoming weeks because I am going to feature it as a Stamp of the Month stamp set. So let's get started. I want to give you some tips about this stamp set. There's a lot of different pieces in it. And what I have found, it is actually a 3-step stamp set. So you've got your bold flowers, then you've got the little accents, and then the outline. The same way with the leaves. So I've got some other tips with this stamp set. So let's get started. I'm going to take a piece of 3 3/4 by 5 inch Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to use the biggest flower. Now I have found with this set, normally I like to start with the boldest image, but I'm finding with this set I like the outline better. Remember Lotus Blossom had that little tip at the top to tell us where the top of the flower is for lining up? It's the same way with this. So I've put that tip pointing towards the top, and I'm simply going to stamp that outline 3 different times, remembering to go off the paper a little bit. Next, what I'm going to do is bring in Hello Honey, and I'm going to use the boldest outline, remembering that tip is up here. I'm going to ink, and then I'm going to stamp off on my grit. Of course, the grit is covering my paper piercing mat. And the thing I like about 2-step or 3-step stamping is that it doesn't have to be exact. But I'm stamping and stamping off so that I get that lighter shade of Hello Honey. So then I can go in with my little accent centers. Again, there's that little arrow to let me know where the top of that flower is, so that when I'm lining it up, I know where to stamp it. Of course, I'm going now full strength over the same color so that I have right there. It's centered and double lined. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in Mossy Meadow ink pad, and we've got the stem with this set. Again, this is a 20-piece stamp set, so a great value, and we've got this stem. But the neat thing about photopolymer is that I can curl that stem. So I've just got it like so that it looks more like what a stem does on a flower, curving. I'm going to just flip that stamp over. Or not flip it over, but turn it over so that I've got those stems going in different directions. Now I'm going to bring in my leaf. Again, I'm just going to use one color of the Mossy Meadow green ink. So I want to stamp off and just go in and stamp. I see I've got some ink on my block. That's what happens when you use too big of a block for your stamp. You can get a shadowing. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I noticed that I did full strength with that, so we're going to see what happens here when I go back over. I think you're still going to get a two-tone look, but not as distinct as it would have been had I stamped off. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in that tip-top taupe again. Going to bring in my little bee. Stamp the bee. Hello Honey. For the body, again, Beautiful two-step for all those people like me that don't like to color. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring in my dazzling details. I am going to put that in the center of my flower and on my bee. But I'm also going to give you a little tip. I'm going to just put little drops of that dazzling details around. And then I'm going to bring in my gold sequins. This is on a string, and I'm just going to cut off some of those sequins. And because the dazzling details, when it dries, will become like an adhesive, it is going to hold those sequins in place and give them a little sparkle in the middle. So just a great way to add sequins to your card with a little sparkle in the middle. Got one more there. I'm just going to go in and grab another one. Want to show you the layering of the card that I did. Because I have put this dazzling details on now, I don't want to turn it over. This is what I did. I kind of spaced those flowers a little bit different, so I was able to get the verse, but you can see those gold sequins on that card. So hope you've enjoyed today's tip on Garden in Bloom, and remember, check back in a couple weeks as I feature this as a stamp of the month. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you real soon.